Okay. This is your globe. This is North America. This is Europe. This is Asia. Now, what happened during World War One? During World War One, USSR, we call it as USSR, was on one side, UK was on one side, USA was on one side. On the other side, we had Germany, then we had Italy, and then we had Japan. Okay, we had Japan. Now, what happened in 1970s? This video the class which I am going to take now, this is regarding your SSB perspective, keeping in mind your SSB current affairs. Okay. Now, in meantime, I'll tell you what kind of examination question they will ask you. Okay, this time in UPSC they had asked, where is Lushank? CDS question they have asked, where is Lushank? It is in Ukraine. Okay, now look at this. I am going to tell you everything what happened in Afghanistan, what happened in Iraq, who is Saddam Hussein, who is Libya's Gaddafi, all these things. Okay, so try to keep writing it down. In World War One, this was a team, and USSR was defeated by Japan in 1917. Okay, just keep looking here. I'll give you time to write. When I say write, that time you write it. USSR was ruled by a king that time. His name was Nicholas, and he is called as Tsar. Tsar means king. Tsar Nicholas. Okay, so now this Japan, they had a strategic ideas, very sophisticated aeroplanes and all, so they defeated USSR, and this happened in 1917, February 1917. On the same time in USSR, there was a person called as Lenin. You might have heard of his name, Lenin. He started a party called as Bolshevik party. Bolshevik means red party. So this party was getting stronger and stronger, and by the time of February 1917, this king, he told, okay, I will give rights to Duma. Duma is nothing but parliament of the Russians, or we in Hindi, parliament is called as Sansad, Sansad Bhavan, or we say Sansad. Like that we have in USSR Duma. Okay, so February, the king wanted to hold the power, but again he is dissolving it. But by the month of October, there was a last revolution. This is called as October Revolution, and USSR, they removed this king and all, and they become completely like a country which is ruled by the constitution. So now what happened here? Lenin's Bolshevik party was ruling Russia. Bolshevik. After Lenin, we have Joseph Stalin. Okay, after Lenin, we have Joseph Stalin, who becomes a leader of USSR. Things were going on smooth. And here in history, you should know there is a treaty called as Treaty of Versailles. What is this here? Treaty of Versailles. Now what happened? This treaty is a very important treaty in 1918. Okay, 1919, sorry. Now what happens? Germany, Italy, these countries were blamed for the World War One. Okay, they told whatever iron ore or coal mines are there, for 99 years, England, these countries are going to make use of it. So when this Versailles, this is a place, so when this treaty was signed, Germany, Italy were not called for this. Germany and Italy, they were not called. In front of them, this deal did not happen. They just signed among themselves, and things started going on. But by this time in Germany, what happened? There was a soldier from Austria. He was there in Germany. He is Adolf Hitler. Okay, he was getting into German, and then slowly he rises in the armed forces, and then he starts a party called as Nazi party. You know this party, political party. Now this 1919, the First World War took place from 1914 to 1918. The First World War took place from 1914 to 1918, 4 years. This war was very expensive. The countries like this, European countries, okay, they lost money. And within 10 years, all the banks failed in Europe. We have seen banking system yesterday, right? So all the banks failed in Europe, and this resulted in 1929 Great Depression. What is this here? Great Depression. What does it mean? In 1929, there was a talk among the people that there is second war going to happen. Second World War is going to start. So it is better that you go to bank and take out all your money. So all of a sudden, all the citizens in European countries, they started going towards bank, and they told, give my money back. I don't want any current account. I don't want any saving accounts. Give my money back. When the bank started giving money, you already know that money is already rotated in the market. Now the banks failed to give this money back. And this is called as 1929 Great Depression. This was the time when Hitler came to scene in Germany. Hitler is telling, dear Germans, look at these countries. They have made us poor. They have blamed us for the war. but they are the culprit. So now Hitler says that we have to make Germans great again. We have to make Aryans great again. So now Hitler makes a idea that to conquer this world once again. By the year 1936, Hitler comes to power, and under him there was one Olympics also conducted in 1936 in Berlin, and this was the first time where the Olympic had a torch. Okay, Olympic had a torch. This is sports related news. I'll tell you later. Now this date is important. 3rd of September 1939. 3rd of September 1939, this was the beginning of the Second World War. Germany attacked Poland and all these things, it started. And from 1940 to 1945, this was Second World War. Once again, this was the team. Okay, now it is USSR, UK, USA, and here you have France also. And now the same team here on one side. Now what happened? Germany, common enemy was these guys. And these two joined hands together, and here you have Turkey also. Turkey was in the First World War, and now Japan, now it is waiting for the Second World War. Why did America drop bombs on Japan on Pearl Harbor? Why Japan dropped Pearl Harbor bombs, and why America dropped nuclear bombs on the Japan? That is one important thing. In 1940, see, Japan is here in Pacific Ocean and America is here, very closer. What Japan did, once again there is a war, so this is the right time to expand my empire. I will become very strong. Japan had dream. Because these guys are fighting in Europe, I will conquer the whole of Asia region. Japan started expanding its territory. Here there is a place called as Pearl Harbor. You might have heard this place. Pearl Harbor. What Japanese did, they dropped bomb in Pearl Harbor, and this Pearl Harbor was the base for the US fleet, US Navy fleet. Okay, when USA realized that Japan has deliberately attacked Pearl Harbor in 1940s, USA took a promise that I am going to destroy this guy. They took a promise in 1940s, and the research started for another 4 years to making an atomic bomb. Okay, so this was going on. So another 4 years, from 1940 to 1945, they were all friends. And the result was 6th of August 1945, Hiroshima. 9th of August 1945, Nagasaki. Okay, two nuclear bombs were dropped, and the bomb dropped on Hiroshima was little boy. Little boy. And here it is fat man. Do you all understand? Little boy and fat man. This question was asked in UPSC. Written examination question was this, but for interview, you have to know all these things. What is exactly happening? Okay, and why Russia, Putin is attacking Ukraine. Okay, so this is what is happening, little boy and fat man. Now what happened? After the dropping bomb, Japan surrendered. Japan told, I'm sorry, I never felt that this will be the escalation of the war, and Japan surrendered. The moment Japan surrendered, Germany, there, Hitler and all these people, they were killed, and again this power, they won. USSR, UK, USA, France, they won. They were the winning team. Now after this, what happens? After 1945, here comes the twist in the history. All the terrorism, if you see, before 1945, there was no terrorist attack in this world. Before 1945, there was no president who was assassinated. Okay, but after 1945 only the power or the class struggle started. Now look at this. Okay, very important. This is America, North America, and this is Russia. Russia means USSR. I am drawing a map of USSR. This is Europe. USSR, even today, Russia is the largest country in terms of its area, right? So, USSR, those days, it was Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, so many countries together was called as USSR. Now, Americans, they were little bit of jealous of USSR. Why? Because America was nuclear power country and USSR is also nuclear power country. So now we are entering a phase from 1945 to 1990. This is called as Cold War. What is this here? Cold War. So from here onwards, this is important to understand, to realize the situation what is happening in the world today. So from 1945 to 1990, there is Cold War. But what is this Cold War? America, nuclear power country, USSR, nuclear power country, they both are face to face. Okay. Now you know, after the Second World War got over, many small countries got independence. Okay, like India, Pakistan. Okay, many small countries, they got independence because these Britishers, they told, okay, I am going to leave your country. They left. So like this, many small countries got independence. Now, when these countries are getting independence, Russians are trying to influence them. Americans are trying to influence them. Dear India, come to America, join America. We are the richest country in this world. We have nuclear bombs. We have nuclear weapons. Russians are telling, dear India, you come to us. We are following communism, secularism. Okay, this is the right model for your country. Like this, there is a competition between America and USSR, USA and USSR, that who will get lot of team. So this is called as polarized world. Polarized world. Okay, polarization means two party. Okay. Now this was going on, and suddenly technology war was also going on. Who will first go to the moon or the space? Okay, that was also going on. And here there is one theory called as land island theory. What is this area? Land island. Now what is this land island? See, if you see the world map, this area, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, okay, Somalia, this area, we call it as Middle East Asia. What is that? I call it as Middle East Asia. This Middle East Asia is called as the center part of the world. So the Americans, the Russians, all the developed countries, what they think, the country who will govern this area will be the ruler of this world. Because from here I can launch missiles in any direction. I can control the whole world. Do you understand? So the trade, the business, if an aircraft or suppose if I want to go from India to America, I have to go to Dubai, from Dubai to connecting flight. So what happens? This place is the center part. The country who will take the control of this place will be the ruler of this world. So Americans started fighting for this. Russians started fighting for this. Now here there is a country called as Afghanistan. Yes? Do you know this? Afghanistan. Now what happened? Americans wanted to take control of this Afghanistan and all these places. But what these Russians did, before the Americans could do anything, Russians invaded. So it was in the year 1970, USSR invaded, controlled, okay, Afghanistan. Do you all understand? So who invaded Afghanistan first? USSR. So USSR invaded Afghanistan in 1970, and for another 20 years till 1990 USSR was ruling Afghanistan. Okay, now what happened? Americans, they started helping for the freedom of Afghanistan. Okay, now there are some political parties in Afghanistan. There are some local political parties. One party was called as Taliban. What is that? Taliban. So what Americans did, dear Taliban, don't worry, you will fight for your independence. I will train you. So Americans started giving weapon training to them, weapons, okay, all the technologies. So what this party people they did, they started attacking these Russian forces, USSR forces, okay. And for continuous 20 years, USSR could not control, they could not win the complete territory, and they could not hold on for many more years, okay. So now finally 1990, USSR told, I'm going to leave Afghanistan, I'm going to go back. Okay, I'm going to go back. So when Afghanistan was dropped, at the same time in USSR there was a problem, leadership problem. Okay, leadership problem. Lenin, then you have Stalin, like this you have many leaders. Now here in 1990s, we have a person called as Nikal Gorbachao. Who is this? Nikal Gorbachao. When he was the leader of Russia, he told, I am going to change the economy system of Russia. Capitalism, that means private companies. Like this, he started opening up. Russia started becoming little bit of democratic. Okay, so like this, people started fighting for rights in different small pockets. Like we have today Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, these all places, people told, I want independence from USSR. Okay, I want independence from USSR. This leader was little weakened. Okay, he was little weak, and slowly this USSR got into pieces. It got divided into pieces, and today we have only Russia. Do you all understand? We have only Russia. When USSR was here in Afghanistan, USA was here in Iraq. USA was in Iraq. Here in Iraq, there was a person called as Saddam Hussein. Have you heard his name? Saddam Hussein. Okay, now what is happening? Americans are telling Saddam Hussein is planning to attack Kuwait. He is planning to take the complete this Middle East area, and all the oil will be under his control. So it is better to eliminate Saddam Hussein. Okay, American had this strategy. Now what Americans are telling, Saddam Hussein is having weapons of mass destruction, WMD, weapons of mass destruction. He has chemical bombs. He has chemical bombs. Okay, like that they are trying to tell to the United Nations. Now United Nations was convinced. Okay, United Nations was convinced that okay, he is a danger man. Saddam Hussein is a danger man. He is the next Hitler. He has many weapon of mass destruction. Okay, then you have chemical bombs. So we have to kill him. So that's the reason America invaded Iraq. After invading Iraq, for 10 years the battle went on in Iraq with American forces. And finally Saddam Hussein was captured and then he was brought to the courts in the International Criminal Court and he was hanged. Okay. After 10 years of hanging, today United Nations is asking question to America. Dear American forces, you went to Iraq, 10 years you were there, you attacked complete nook and corner of Iraq. Give me one bomb. Show me one bomb or one chemical weapon that you got from Iraq. One weapon of mass destruction. Show me, display it. This is done by Saddam Hussein. I agree that your mission was successful. What Americans told to UN, I am sorry, we thought he might have weapons of mass destruction, but he never had. Okay, so it was just a small error. Okay, so for 10 years they did a small error. So that's going on in the international politics. Now after Afghanistan was free from the USSR forces, here what happens? The Taliban, I told you Taliban was trained by whom here? By the USSR forces, right? Now the Taliban was trained by the USA. Now by 1990 they are getting they are free. So now Taliban is telling now we are the government. Okay, now we are the government. But slowly what happened? Some people they realize Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden. Okay, Al-Qaeda and all these people, they realize what is the reason that our country has fallen down. So they realize the reason that we are back, it is due to America. It is due to America. So what happens? 11th of September 2001, Al-Qaeda carried out attack in Twin Towers in America. You know that aeroplane went and hit this World Trade Center, right? That happened here. Now at that time there was George W. Bush. George W. Bush Jr., he was the president of USA. He told in 2001, I am going to attack Afghanistan. I am going to kill Osama bin Laden. Understood? He told like this. So now permission was granted. In 2001, or you can say this year, Americans went inside Afghanistan. Okay, they went inside Afghanistan till 2020. Till the time of Joe Biden. They were in Afghanistan. But even these people, they realize it is a mistake that we cannot control these Afghanistan people. It is better to go back. Okay, so they left back. So for another 20 years, Taliban was treated as a terrorist organization. Okay, Americans and Taliban, they are face to face. American forces will attack Taliban, they will kill Taliban leaders. Okay, like this was going on. Donald Trump came. Barack Obama started this. Barack Obama in 2010, he told, I am going to withdraw the forces. He started it. Donald Trump told, okay, I am going to make it 50%. Joe Biden told, I am going to do 100%. So 2020, American forces, they left the Afghanistan. Now what happened? There is a vacancy. Now who will form the government in Afghanistan? Taliban. Now when Taliban is forming the government, Americans are telling, yes, we recognize Taliban government. What Americans are telling? We are recognizing Taliban government. So before these people came, who was ruling there? Taliban. So what was the problem there? This is going on one side. On the other side, Americans were happy that USSR, now it is reduced to Russia. It is reduced to Russia. This is going on one side. During Cold War, look at this war. From 1945 to 1990, during Cold War, I told you America is trying to pull many countries towards them. Americans started a force called as NATO force, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. What is this here? NATO forces. What Americans are telling, okay, what Americans are telling to these Europeans here, dear Europeans, okay, to certain countries, Russia is very dangerous. Don't ever trust these people. Okay, don't ever trust these people. They may come and attack you anytime. They will take your territory anytime. So during Cold War, NATO was started to counterattack these Russians and USSR. Do you all understand? Okay, this USSR communism, and here you have a country called as Cuba. Okay, the capital of Cuba is Havana. So here Cuba, the communist government, that is Fidel Castro, he overthrew the USA dictatorship. And the Americans, they told Cuba, I will destroy you. Okay, I will destroy you. Fidel Castro is telling, I am a communist, I will look after myself. So since these people are communist, Russians are communist, what Russians did, they sent ships. There were so many ships carrying nuclear bombs. Okay, and the Cuba here, this Cuba island was completely surrounded by nuclear weapons. If anything happens during these years, 1945 to 1990, anything happens, Cuba would have gone with the nuclear attack. But after the USSR getting split, this Cuban crisis was over. There was no problem in the Cuban peninsula or this area, island country. Now what happened? NATO forces. Do you all understand why NATO was started? Americans are telling, if Russia attacks you, I will come and help you. If Russia is attacking me, you should come and help me. Do you all understand? For example, France is there. Russians are telling, dear France, if Russia attacks, I will come and help you. If Russia is attacking me, you have to come and help. So this is the idea with the NATO forces. Okay. Now here what happens? The problem is this. Imagine this is Russia and here this is Ukraine. Here this is Ukraine. In 1990, look at this year. In 1990, USSR got divided into small pocket countries. So one country is Ukraine. Do you all understand? One country is Ukraine. So Ukraine was part of Russia before how many years? Just before 1990. This was the situation. And this is Ukraine and here this is Europe. That is, these are European countries like this. Now, what this Ukraine is doing recently, what this Ukraine is doing, it is trying to develop its business with America. They want to do friendship with which country? America. So what Russia is feeling, why Ukraine is doing this? Correct? No. Why Ukraine is doing this? And why Americans are showing so much interest in Ukraine? Bruce Lynn. Okay. So why Americans are showing so much interest in this Ukraine? So this is the problem. Now I'll take you to 2014. What happened in 2014? Here Ukraine, Russia, and here there is a sea called as Black Sea. What is this here? Black Sea. Those who are repeaters, SSB students, those who are repeaters, the officer will ask you questions like this. What's happening in Black Sea? What's happening in Caspian Sea? What's happening in South China Sea? What is happening in Yellow Sea, Bering Sea, Barents Sea? Okay, like this question they will ask you. It is not like question and answers. Okay, if you are a first time person going for interview, ball is in your court, officer will say that, okay, tell me 3 current affairs. 3 national, 3 international, you may say anything. Okay, you may say anything, sir, Nayandara gave birth to 2 baby boys, twin boys. Okay, they will accept it. But if you are a repeater, they will check. Why did you get rejected last time? Okay, they will grind you with this 1 or 2 current affairs, they will grind you. And then the question is why you get rejected. Fine. So look at this now. I'm telling some places you have to check in the map and just get thorough. Black Sea, here between Ukraine and Russia, here there is a small place. This place is called as Crimea. What is this here? Okay, this place is called as Crimea. And look at this. I'm drawing it little bigger now. Okay, I'm drawing it little bigger. Look here. Black Sea and this is Crimea. Crimea is called as Crimean Peninsula. Okay, peninsula means 3 sides covered by water. Okay, look here now. Okay, 3 side covered by water. So here you have Ukraine and here you have Russia. So what happened when the USSR got divided in 1990, this Crimea wanted to come with Russia because the people here in Crimea are Russians. Maximum they are all majority Russians. But Russia told, I am giving this island as a gift to Ukraine. Okay, this is the story so far I have read in various websites like BBC. But now if the history changes, I can't do, but this is what has happened. Okay, in 2014, Crimea, in 1990, they wanted to come here. Russia told in 1990, no, you go with Ukraine. Ukraine, you take it. There is no problem. This was the situation. In 2014, Ukraine, what happened? They started investing with the American companies. Americans are showing more interest in Ukraine. So what Russians thought, maybe this is the chance that Ukraine will join NATO. Do you understand? Ukraine will join NATO. So who is cornered here? Russians are cornered. So Russians gave warning, don't do this, don't do this. So just to give a warning, This Vladimir Putin in 2014, what he did, within one day, he told, from today, Crimea is mine. Okay, he told Russian's army, go, captured Crimea, that is mine. Complete Crimean Peninsula was joined to Russia. Now Crimea is a Russian territory. It is a Russian territory. So here we have battle ships and everything. And now if any country ships goes here, they are threatened. Because this is Russian area. This is what happened in 2014, long back. Okay. Now what happened? Recently, this Ukraine, there is a president called as Zelensky. And Russian president is Vladimir Putin. Now what happened? Zelensky, he wanted the support of the rest of the countries to take over this country. Place. Okay, now at this time, what USA is telling, dear Ukraine, if you join NATO, I can help you. Not only me, there are many other countries who can come and help. Okay, so why don't you join NATO? So now Ukraine is trying to join NATO and it becomes a very big organization. Before this, Sweden, Finland, they never joined. Sweden is telling that I will never join NATO because I want peace. Finland is telling I don't want war, I want peace. But this time when Russians attacked this Crimea and Ukraine, these two guys were afraid. Sweden and Finland were afraid. They told no, this is the right time, it is better to join NATO. So they have joined NATO. So who is getting victory here? USA. Okay, so Sweden and Finland, they joined NATO, and this is the situation. And now just 1 week back, between Crimea and Russia, there is a bridge, a bridge is constructed, and this bridge, only bridge was attacked by a car bomb. It was attacked by car bomb. The next day, Russians directly they sent missile to the capital of Ukraine. Now here in Ukraine, there are some places like Donbas, Lushansk. This all territory is under Russia now, and Russia has formally declared that this is Russia. They have acceded, means taken the Russian territory. So this is what is happening between Ukraine and Russia. So this is continuing. Every 10 years you see, 1970 to 1990 Afghanistan war with the Russians. Then 2000 till 2020 again Afghanistan with the Americans. Then 2011 to 2020 Syria. Look at this. One more issue I'll tell you. Syrian problem. Okay. Now here there is a country called as Syria. What is the capital of Syria? Damascus. What is that? Damascus is the capital of Syria. So I told you the land island theory. Remember that. Okay, always keep this in mind. So Americans, what they did, Afghanistan, we can't do anything. I'm not able to control Afghanistan. So why can't I directly go and control Syria? This was the idea. So in 2011 in Syria there was a problem. Now in order to explain the Syrian crisis, it will take another half an hour, but I am just telling you in a broad like for an example, just running over a topic. Now in 2011 Syrian was in problem. Russia was its neighbor. Russia is telling Syria, you don't worry, I am there with you. Okay, so whenever Syrian government was under trouble, whenever American forces are attacking, whenever NATO forces are attacking, Russians will come and help Syria. Do you all understand? Because Russians wanted Syria to be safe. Otherwise, if Syria is lost, Americans will come there, NATO forces will come there. So today what is happening in United Nations organization, when all the countries are voting against Russia, Syria is not voting against Russia. India is not voting against Russia. Okay, so these are some things which is happening. Now each country has some stories. Okay, Iran has a story, Iraq has a story, Libya. Okay, Libya has a story. Now Libya, there was a person called as Muammar Gaddafi. Okay, Muammar Gaddafi. The Americans told Muammar Gaddafi is a dictator. He's trying to attack or control the oil market. He was also killed in this year. By 2011, 2012, he was killed. Okay, so who is the main reason for all the problem here? Americans. Yeah, Americans, they wanted to control the whole world economy, something like that. So this is what is happening. Now Russia, Vladimir Putin is a very strong leader. He is above 80 years old, but he can be the president for another few more years. Okay, for another 10 years also he can be Aramsi, he can be the president. So we'll have to wait and see whether like Gorbachao, Russia will again break into pieces or again the Russians will expand its territory. We'll have to wait and see. So because of this war, Because of this war, today what Russians are telling, the crude oil prices, the LPG gases prices is increasing. I am not the reason. Western countries are the reason. Americans are the main culprit. Okay, European countries are the main culprit because I didn't start the war. They started the war. So the main idea is, see, it will not take that much time for the Russians to control Ukraine. But what Russians are telling to Ukraine, you stop joining NATO. Correct? You stop joining NATO. Rest everything will be calm. That's it. And this is a warning. Ukraine is like a football now. Between Americans and Russians, it's like a football. Okay, Russians are telling, don't come towards me. Americans are telling, no, I will go towards you. Now this will go on for another 10 years. Okay, by today, I think this is 2022, right? It will go on for another 10 years, and after Ukraine, there will be some other country. So every 10 years, you see, there will be a war in some country for 10 years. Because without war, the economy does not function. The world economy does not function. Americans are running only on their weapons. They sell weapons. Indians, what they do? The largest importer. We keep buying weapons. Okay, so this is what is happening around the world. So in interview, they may ask you anything, Crimea, Black Sea, remember something about South China Sea? Okay, once upon a time, there was problem between North Korea and Americans. But now it is solved. Okay, now it is solved, now it is not that important. Okay, now the most important thing is Ukraine. Okay, but be prepared in SSB interview, whenever you go, like you, many will be there who will be coming up with this idea. Okay, so this is something which I have read and I have told you. You have to take your own efforts, read many articles. One article you search in various websites, BBC, All India Radio, Hindu paper, okay, like that, various website you go, read, make notes, then you go for interview. That will help you crack the interview. Attending my classes, interesting, wow, so many facts, dates, years. Okay, I'm going to tell the same thing in interview. It's not going to help you out. Okay, so this is what the effort you should do. Make your own efforts, make your own notes. If you have doubts, you can ask me again. Okay, I'll clear it. Okay, do you understand? Any other doubts you have? Yeah? Fine. So today the first article is here. What is that first article in the headlines? Inflation. Correct? We have discussed about inflation. Yeah, what is inflation? Increase in the? Yes, price rate. Okay. Then I think in page number 14 they have told something, right? It continuation is in page number 14 on the top. Yeah? Yeah, tell me, what is the consumer price index? Yeah, batao. Have they given? What is CPI? What is the interest? What is the percentage? Sorry. It increased or decreased? Decreased. Yeah? Increased. From what point to what point? Yes, Anurag, it was how much? 7.6 in August. Now it's 8.6. Yes, it was 7 and now it is 8. Okay. Now, in the first page they have told, first or the same page, I don't know, who will be called by the government of India? Who will be responsible for the rise of this inflation? Yeah? Correct. RBI. Very good. Okay. Is it written there? Is it written there? What is written there? Who will be responsible? Who will go and answer this question now? Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Look at this. I hope the basics like CRR, SLR, everything is in your mind. Repo rate, reverse repo rate, okay, basis point, all these things are in your mind. Okay, now look at this. I told you, Reserve Bank of India will try to increase the basis point. If the basis point is increased, the CRR, SLR, this percentage will also increase. So, here you have different rates. What are the rates you have? The first rate is bank rate. The first rate is bank rate. Then the next rate is repo rate, and this next rate is reverse repo rate. And yesterday we have seen this was a committee set up in 1990s which introduced these rates. Correct? Basel norms, everything we have seen. Okay. Suppose if the basis points are increased, repo rate will increase. Then bank rate will increase. Then what happens? The supply of money in the economy will be less. Remember one thing, in 1990s India was facing problem of inflation. Manmohan Singh government came. Congress government, they came and they told, let us have a plan. For another 20 years, let us have a plan. So according to this plan, the inflation should be between 4% to 6% in next 20 years. Okay, in the next 20 years. So this plan started in 1990. Reserve Bank of India was given this target. Any governor comes, he will be focusing on this. So what this RBI used to do, they will increase the basis point, decrease the basis point. They will keep doing it like this in order to bring the inflation within what percentage? Between 4 to 6%. So by the 2010, if you see, okay, by 2010, if you see, our GDP was increasing. Gross domestic products were increasing, and at the same time, the inflation was decreasing. Do you understand? Raghuram Rajan, Governor of India, he was trying to maintain it so well. Sometimes government will force the governor that you have to decrease the basis point because in economy the money is not flowing. But Raghuram Rajan was not listening to any government. He was trying to control the inflation rate. This is what is the idea. By 2014, okay, the mission was successful. The inflation rate started coming between 4 to 6%. It was 5%, 4% like that. So yesterday, actually today's news or yesterday's also we have seen the inflation has gone till how much percent? 8%. So it has overshot. 6% se kahan chala gaya? 8%. Now the government is telling, what are you doing? Reserve Bank of India, Governor, chalo come, I will have an inquiry on it. I will have an inquiry on it. So now what will happen? Reserve Bank of India is responsible for this. Now Reserve Bank of India for another 2 months, what they will do? They will increase the basis point. So when they increase the basis point, people, they will have less money. Okay. So just wait and see. By this Diwali, everything will be little cheaper. But after Diwali, what will happen? Everything will get costlier. The rates will increase. Okay. So this is what is happening. There is one more reason for the inflation. It is not the Indian economy alone. It is all the world economy which is facing inflation. Because of the war in which country? Ukraine. Okay, because of which country? Ukraine. Okay, so now here, if there is a war in Ukraine, the ships which is carrying crude oil, okay, all these things, they are a dangerous situation. So the petrol input will be less. And here, whatever stock we have, the cost will increase. Okay, so this is what is happening. So what the RBI is telling, it is not due to me, it is due to the ongoing war. Okay, now why government, finance minister will call, okay, Reserve Bank of India governor. Ki what are you doing? Because I am responsible for the government. The opposition is going to ask me what's going on here. Do you all understand? Okay, so this is one thing. What I wanted to tell you from this article is that, do you all understand what is CPI? Consumer price index. So inflation in India is calculated on what? CPI. We have something called as WPI also. Yes or no? And we also have IIP. Okay, we have also have IIP. Okay, so CPI is divided into two, rural and urban. Okay, rural and urban. So this is what you have to read. Tomorrow you just wait and see. Tomorrow's newspaper in editorial column, they will give an article about inflation. What is inflation? What is CPI? What RBI is doing? What is the reason for it? The war going on in the Ukraine. They will just put these same points. Okay, we hope so. If it comes, it is okay. Okay, otherwise, maybe in some other article they will carry. Okay, next, after this, you have read one more article that Air Force Day show is shifted from Bangalore to Chandigarh, and Army Day parade will be shifted from Delhi to Bangalore. Okay, so that is a good news. We can just go and watch. Okay, then you have another article. I told you President Murmu. What is that temple? Which is that temple? That is Kamakhya temple. Which temple? Kamakhya temple in Guwahati in Assam. Okay, Kamakhya temple, very famous temple. Next, the next page, what you have done directly? Editorial column. Okay, so you have just seen a video I just showed you. Just simply a recap. In order to select a Chief Justice of India, what is the system followed? Collegium system is followed. Okay, collegium system consists of the Chief Justice of India and another senior judges of the Supreme Court. Do you all understand? Another Supreme Court judges. So they will have a secret meeting and they will select a person for the rank of the other like this post. Okay, Now what has happened? The present Chief Justice of India is going to retire on November 8th. Okay, he is just in office for 75 days. Okay, because he is crossing the age of 65. Now what happened? There is another person called as Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Okay, he is a very famous person. Okay, and he is the second generation Chief Justice of India. His father was also once upon a Chief Justice of India. Now he is the second generation CJI. Now here there are five judges and one Chief Justice of India. They wanted to select a person for the rank of the judge. So what happened? They have to come in a meeting. They have to come in a hall and they have to go for the names. But they were busy. Why? Because this justice, he was busy in the office till 9:30 p.m. He could not attend the meeting. So what the present judge, Chief Justice of India, Mr. Lalit did, he sent a notification. Okay, in a paper he sent notification that if you are agreeing, you sign it. Two judges, they didn't sign it because they don't agree with it. Okay, so this is the problem. So because of this, what is happening? Now there is a doubt that you guys are selecting the judges. You are selecting the CGI. On what basis? This is not transparent. I am not knowing why did you select. We only know that, okay, this guy is a CGI. But on what basis? What made him so special? Okay, is it senior? Is he junior? Okay, no idea about it. So this system they wanted to change. And in 2014, the government wanted to change this collegium system itself. They wanted to change the collegium system itself. Here they wanted to interfere Prime Minister, leader of opposition, okay, then three eminent persons. They all will come and sit in this meeting along with CGI and they will nominate this CGI. But what the Supreme Court told, this is unconstitutional. The bill was cancelled. So this is what is happening, and total 5 judges, in that 4:1. One judge, he told that no, this is good idea. And that one judge, when he was about to retire, he told no, what our Supreme Court told, that is better. So what is happening? Is it transparent? That is one question. Okay, so this goes on every time these articles will come into picture. Now what is important for you? Judicial activism. समझ में आया 4:1 ये articles वगैरह. Now in Indian polity, when I teach you judiciary, that time I'll tell you in detail more about it. ठीक है? Fine. Next article, what you have read? Corporate, cooperative societies, cooperative acts. I told you NABARD, banks we have seen, right? NABARD, cooperative banks, everything. It is going to be, the money is going to be utilized now. Okay, that is the only idea. Amendment Act. Okay. Next, any other article you have read? Yeah. Sports. Okay. Discuss through player. So there is a problem of doping. Okay. See, the question is not regarding the player. The question is regarding doping. Okay, doping. Your topic in GD or essay or anything. The problem of doping in Indian sports. They will ask you like this. The problem of doping in Indian sports. So you follow this kind of news. National games in Gujarat concluded. Okay. Yesterday we have won the series, cricket series. Okay, that is all news. But what is the thing which will be asked for you in interview or somewhere? That is your doping. Okay. So these questions they will ask you. Samajh mein aaya? Fine. So this is your today's current affairs. Now, yesterday we have stopped with that CPI, Consumer Price Index. We'll finish it off today. Just only 2 pages are remaining. We'll finish it off today. Go for a break and come back.